strong, you better get it on. You should always have a chick while you on your throne. Nobody cares, you better stay alive. But for now we up to bat, we yelling hit or die. Hit or die, 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 hit or die. That's two for me, one for the team, and we won't stop till we get the ring. Hit or die, 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 hit or die. That's two for me, one for the team, and we won't stop till we get the ring.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Hit.Or.Die podcast, episode 48. We're here with your hosts, Jake Saldati and Chad Rothberg. Shout out again, Young Cab, for the intro. I still love it every time I hear it. Nothing but good things about it. We got ex-big leaguer on our podcast today, Jeff Fry. Played 9 years in the big leagues. He's got a lot of Twitter beef going on with all these hitting gurus out there.
With everybody. God.
Every single hitting guru out there. So we hit him up because we kind of are like-minded and think kind of the way he does. At least I do. I know Jake, you do too. You kind of just want to see, all these guys are working with guys, and yeah, you show a video and his numbers or whatever, but what's his stats for the season? Like, you know what I mean? It's so, and we did some numbers for big leaguers back when in our era, I guess. And also when Jeff was playing, and you just put up numbers, some top big leaguers against the top big leaguers nowadays. And they were kind of mind boggling, if you want to get into some of those.
Yeah. I was looking, I just got into the wormhole, right? Like I get on YouTube wormholes and or the rabbit hole, whatever they call it. And I was on Baseball Reference, and I spent my whole lunch hour yesterday and maybe an extra 20 minutes because you hear people saying so one of the tweets that Fry got back at him was that pitchers today are 10 times better than, and they didn't really say, I don't remember what they said exactly, but I'm going to assume his era, which he played until I think 2001. And I just kind of thought that was hilarious. So I went back and looked at like 20 game winners from 1990 to 2004 and 20 game winners from 05 to 19. And not that 20 game winners means that they're not good, but if they're 10 times better, there should be more 20 game winners now than there were in that 15 years, 14 years. And the fact was that if from 90 to 04, I think there was 35 20-game winners. And from 05 to 19, there was 21. So not even like a small margin.
Yeah.
14 more then than now. And you're talking about guys like Randy Johnson, Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux, guys like that. I think the only two in the last 15 years that had multiples was Scherzer and Verlander. But I could be wrong. I don't have my paper in front of me. I left it. But I just thought that was interesting. And then we were talking about strikeouts for offense, right? And so I took like the best players in today's game, at least what people say. And so we had Yelich, Trout, Bellinger. And we took how many 100-plus strikeout seasons those guys have had versus Jeter, Griffey, and who was the other one? Cal Ripken. And so in 9 seasons, Trout's had 7 100-plus strikeouts. And all of them, but one, I think, were more than 120. Griffey had 5. And 2 of them were more than 120, but they were 121, both of them.
How many seasons?
22
for Griffey.
Yes.
Got it.
So
it's ridiculous.
he's less than Trout in double the amount of seasons.
Yes.
And Cal Ripken played, I think it was 21 or 20, and had 0 100-plus strikeout seasons. And Jeter had
and he played 16 full
straight
seasons straight.
Just, I mean, and we talked about that too. Like, just playing one full season is probably, like, I'd love to ask Luke, like it put that into perspective. Or even we could ask Jeff Fry, like,
yeah,
put that in perspective. Like, how hard is that to do? And then that many times. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's
so
ridiculous.
To say that, like, the difference is today's players are better, I totally disagree with that. And then you posted some stuff on, or sent me some stuff on ratios with the home run, the differential.
The home runs were, I think we did 95 to 2005 and then 2005 to 19. And they had more home runs, like 21,000 more home runs. But then the strikeouts, it was like over 200,000 more strikeouts. It was a ridiculous number. And that's just, I mean,
and I guess more getting into, like, a matter of opinion. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's hysterical that, like, people are getting so upset about what Jeff Fry's doing, because all he's saying is you guys are coming at me saying I'm wrong. Right?
Yeah.
And I played 9 years in the big leagues. I'm not wrong. I may not agree with you, but you're telling me I'm wrong. It's no different when the guy came at you, who I guess you said came at Friday.
He came at Friday today. So,
and you posted on Derek Jeter's approach, and his first response was to say, this is wrong.
Yeah. It's mathematically impossible to think that way, which I don't know how mathematically, I don't know. Mathematics don't even work in hitting.
So we'll definitely get into it with him. I'm excited to get his opinion on everything. And I know that Major League Baseball's talking about their season. I'd read somewhere that they're going to be voting on today. They're going to be talking about what they want to do in a shortened season, playing 100 games, no all-star game, and moving the World Series into November at a neutral site. Probably they're saying the West Coast, and if it's like, say if the Dodgers are in it, they'll move it to,
San Francisco
or Frisco or San Diego, something like that. So interesting to see what happens there. I'd heard some people say, if, again, it all depends on what happens with the shelter in place stuff, and everything still stems off that. But they talked about having an opening day on 4th of July, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. What do you feel about a 100-game season?
Better than 0.
And is it enough? I mean, again, we talked about a couple weeks ago, asterisk by, the end of the year, or is that enough games to really prove a champion?
Yeah, it's equal. I don't care if they play 10 games or 30 where you play everybody. I don't care. Everybody has the equal amount of games, and it is what it is.
You kind of are who you are.
Yeah. I mean, 100 games, you're 62 off of a regular season. That's not that big of a difference, But
go ahead.
No, I was gonna agree with it. It is games are games.
We'll see. I mean, hopefully we can get them in. I mean, I'd take it. I'd take it over nothing, of course.
Yeah.
Still no news on the high school stuff. I know that April 3rd today, CIF commissioners were supposed to meet and talk about what they're going to do. I mean, with school now no longer going, and I guess school going into session was a suggestion. That's what I'd heard now. I guess some superintendents can make that call. I don't know the details, but it's looking like school's not going back.
Yeah.
Which I would assume just would mean baseball's done. We've had hope. I think around here, it's the only thing that hasn't been for sure shut down for the year. So we'll see. Hopefully next week we'll have some more answers, but I think they were meeting today.
Yeah. And I think with, we talked about the college thing and the seniors getting that choice to come back if they want. But the schools actually have to come up with the money. It's not.
Well, and so I read today, because that passed yesterday, Is that what it passed today, yesterday or the day before? I just read an article in Sports Illustrated
a couple days ago
talking about what it's going to do to those colleges and because they still have to have a 35-man roster.
Really?
With the seniors, so you can be over 40 or 35, but it has to be
35 plus the seniors that came back.
Yeah, exactly.
So depending on if you have 10 seniors, you could have a 45-man roster.
Yeah.
So like Fresno State, they only have 2.
So now they're saying that, one of the ways to help those rosters is you're going to have to cut guys.
Yeah.
Or our kids, and like we've talked about, kids are going to get turned away and say, you know what? I'm going to go play ball at Fresno City or Reedley College or –
yeah, and I actually talked to a parent asked me about it, my opinion on options for seniors in high school that have scholarships to Division I. And, you have to look at it. Do you want to go to school? If you want to go to school, then you should probably take your scholarship and go to school, whether you're going to redshirt or not. Do you want to play professional baseball? Is that obviously you want to play professional baseball, but is that more important than going to school and being there for 3 years? Then maybe a junior college route is more for you. And playing time. Do you want to play right away? With all these seniors coming back, depending on how many do come back, plus the draft, which they might have only 5 rounds or whatever. So you don't know who is going to be off of these teams. You would only assume that the whole team's coming back. That's right. That's how you have to think about it. Right. Is you would think that the whole team's coming back. So guys like Riley Cooper, Ishan, Galvan, Aon, Tobias that just signed with ASU, but he's a junior actually, so that doesn't matter. But these seniors that have signed, Driggs, how important are those things to you going to that college? Or is it a better benefit for you to go play and go to a junior college, play, get drafted? Maybe I'm sure a couple of these guys are going to get drafted this year, depending on the rounds and how many guys go. But do you want to get drafted after your freshman year, after your sophomore year, or do you really want to go to school? If you want to go to school and you want to play Division I baseball at a 4-year school, then go try to beat out the guys and play for your 3 years and get drafted that way. But if school's important, then go to school, enjoy your time, do whatever. But if you want to play professional baseball and you want to play right away, and that might not be your best opportunity, junior college might be the best opportunity for you. I'm only saying that because of what's going on right now. That's the only reason why I'm saying that. If it was almost any other situation, if it was a regular season, heck, go to your 4-year college and see what you can do. See what you're made of. You know what I mean? But with the times we have now where you have to assume all 35 guys are coming back, what's the best chance for you to play and get seen where it's almost like a year wasn't gone? Because in baseball, age matters. You know what I mean? Age is a factor. So if the younger you are to go play professional baseball, the better it is for you. So what is better for you as a player to get to professional baseball and stay there as long as you can?
Yeah, I agree. And the thing if you look at Fresno State, and I think Pat said it too, they only had 2 seniors. Mm-hmm. So they're in a different situation other than maybe guys getting drafted. They're still going to bring back a larger roster. It's going to be weird, man. It'll be interesting to see how they do it.
Well, and that also, what you just said proves a point. So these guys, if I'm a senior in high school, then I'm signed to go to Fresno State. I should be looking at their roster, looking at my position. How many seniors do they have? How many juniors do they have? How many sophomores, freshmen? I mean, you should do that anyways before you sign with the school to know where you stand in the playing position. And then look at those guys' numbers so far this year and the possibility of getting drafted. Okay. That should be on your mind and what you should be doing right now to get kind of, it would give you almost like an explanation of where you sit in that roster going into next year. And that's also going to play a factor. You know, where do I sit right now? If these guys come back, am I going to play? Can I beat that guy out? They have three juniors, one senior at my spot. Is he going to come back? Like, that's all going to play a factor. So it's almost about doing your due diligence and studying the program that you're going to see if that's even the best fit for you now. And that's only in this situation.
Right.
You know,
times are what they are. Because if, you know, you look at a guy like Aon too, like, you know, and Riley and these guys that project, and maybe it isn't. Maybe, I mean, if I'm Fresno City, if I'm Reedley and COS, I'm maybe getting these guys' ears a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
I mean, Aon, Cooper, all right, you're starters.
You put those guys on one staff? Whoo!
Well, I know, but guess what? The season already played. They had Friday, Saturday, Sunday guys for the most part. Most of these programs, especially Oregon and Arizona, they had Friday, Saturday, Sunday guys. So if those guys aren't getting drafted and they're coming back, the possibility of you being a starter is pretty slim. Like, you're trying to fight for the Tuesday job or, you know, obviously beat out. And I'm not saying it's not possible. It's possible to go in there and beat somebody out. But you have to look at that. That has to be a factor in your decision.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
I
mean, I don't know how it affects like coaching. Like, can Ovi? I don't know what they can do right now. Can they talk to their commit?
They can't do. So it's the same as if they're off right now. So
like a dead period. They can't communicate.
Yeah. So somebody can call them or text them. If a player initiates the conversation, then it's okay. But the recruiters can't initiate the conversation.
I mean, if I'm a commit,
at least that's what I think, because I've been getting hit up.
That's
doing that stuff. So, especially since March 1st was the start of recruiting time again. So I feel like just because it's social distancing and we should be in our houses and not out with people doesn't mean they should be able to contact people or ask, like, hey, can you go in the backyard and videotape some stuff and send it to me? Like, they should be able to do that stuff, because guess what? I could go in the backyard and throw balls off my brick wall and get some ground balls in and have somebody videotape it and still get a gist of my hands, my footwork, you know, my glove, how soft my hands are, my glove, my reaction time. You know, I could still hit off a tee into something. I mean, you could still get a sense of this guy's bat speed or hands, you know, barrel, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's kind of crappy that they can't do anything right now.
Yeah, because they want to reach out, I'm sure, to these commits and say, hey, here's the deal, or you know, because you mean, look at this year, you know, how many freshmen pitched for the Dogs?
A lot. Well, I mean, 2 really got a lot of innings.
I'm saying it's not out of the realm of being a guy getting in the mix.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, and I think that's
they're a young team.
Reassure some of these players, like, hey, there's no jobs are safe here, man. Jobs are won, jobs are earned.
Yeah.
And if that's your mindset, maybe that if your mindset is to look at, well, you know, especially, and you played 4 years, you played at a D1 school, like, what does that tell a coach? Like, oh, this kid's a me guy. What's best for him is, you know, he wants to go play now. Do you know what I'm saying? I guess because I don't fault a kid.
I don't know. I mean,
for wanting,
I wouldn't either.
For wanting that,
agree.
but do you understand? You get what I'm saying? Like,
I get both sides, but when it comes down to me, like me and my family, what's best for me? Am I going to go to Oral Roberts and redshirt? Or am I going to go to Fresno City and play every day? Where I'll get seen either way. You know what I mean? I'll get seen by scouts or, you know, either way. So it almost has to be a little selfish, where you have to do what's best for you. You know what I mean? Like, unless, like I said, if school is tops on your list, and not everybody has school on the top on their list, trust me. If school is the top on your list, then we have nothing to talk about. Go to your 4-year and enjoy it. Enjoy your time. Get your school done. You know, you're going to eventually play. You know, that's not a big deal. But if school's not on your top of the list and you want to get to professional baseball as quick as possible, well, You know,
reevaluate your situation.
Exactly. And that's where it comes down to me. What's best for me? What do I want to do? You know, that kind of thing. And it sucks because these four-year colleges are actually having a disadvantage now to this because of what's going on.
Yeah.
Because they might lose recruits. Because guess what? If I'm Mike Batesall, I might be like, man, this guy is going to be a starter, and I could tell him as much as I want that he's going to play right away as a freshman. But at the end of the day, it's going to be what he thinks is best for him.
It's out of his control.
And that's only with the situation we have. That's what I'm saying. It's only because of the situation that all these questions are coming up, and we're going to see a lot of moves.
Yeah, but Coach Batesall doesn't, just in the time we've spent with him, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that he's going to go to war with whoever he's got. And
oh, yeah, for sure.
He trusts his guys, and I love how he does things. I really do.
And like we watched we rewatched the World Series game the other day. I have it on right now, actually. I've actually watched it like 3 times since it happened.
I recorded it the before.
Just to see the dudes, man, and like how much they grinded and wanted it. And then after talking to Batesall, you know, it's no wonder that they played that way. You know,
it's funny too because you looked at the graphic about who they favored to win that game, and the mental toughness, which nobody has a number for, night and day.
Yeah.
Like the mental toughness that Fresno State had versus Georgia, that game was over before it started.
Yeah, I mean, you could see it on their faces. They didn't want to play Fresno State. After what they did the night before, being down 5-0, they did not want to play Fresno State, you know, but Fresno State still had to show up and play, and they did, you know.
Well, they had nothing to lose.
No.
You know,
because nobody thought they were going to win. So, I mean, I think it's a lot easier playing in that situation where nobody even thinks we're going to win anyways.
Well, I like what Mendonça said. Just a bunch of goop. But he said, I saw Detweiler was
giving him crap for not
going
being
hard
able to speak.
or it was Rivera. I think it was Rivera.
Rivera's pretty off on the.
That was a fun read that whole day.
Yeah.
But he was saying, you know, just a bunch of goofballs. You know, as long as they came together as a team, they were going to win. You know, and it was pretty sweet, man. The intro, I got chills, and watching it all play out. And yeah, man, I hadn't seen it in full or entirety since it happened.
I didn't even see it in entirety back when it happened.
No,
I was playing, so I only got to see, you know, some of it. But yeah, it was nice to actually get to see the whole thing and just see the players, man. It's just, and we were talking, it's crazy how much Suzdorf looks like Will Clark.
Will Clark?
Yeah. So, but yeah, it just brought back memories because that was a year after I was graduated college. So it's just crazy. They were 60th in the country in offense, and it's like everybody was like well over 300. Amadi had almost 100 RBIs. Suzdorf had 88 RBIs. Mendonça had 77. And I'm just like 60th in the country, and they're just, you know, that's crazy to think of how good baseball was, you know, back then.
Yeah, it was fun, man. I loved watching it again. My Sammy, my daughter, she stayed up as long as she made it, like, I think to the 6th. And then she was smashed out. She crashed. But yeah, man, it definitely brought back some good memories. The other thing we were talking about, speaking of pro ball, was I saw a story on Shin Soo Chu donated $190,000, $1,000 per player for the Rangers minor league players.
Yeah,
which I thought was pretty cool. And then I saw that the MLB announced they'd donate 400.
It's not donate. They
donate, but their
players deserve.
$400
a week
per week, including benefits. I think through the end of May,
which is way more than I got paid in a month being a minor leaguer. So some of them are actually making more money now, not playing, than if they were playing. Just putting that out there, and rightfully so. You know, these are guys that bust their butt all off season, have to get part-time jobs, and now they go to spring training thinking they don't have to get an outside job until, the next offseason, and they're stuck at home. Even guys are getting released because of it, which is really terrible that organizations would do that. And I think it's to save money. But they deserve it. And,
Yeah, it's pretty cool that, a guy would do that, though, knowing, he's been there, right, coming through the system, and you see what guys go through. And
I think more guys should do that.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, they make millions of dollars. I mean, Bryce Harper's making enough money for the next lifetime.
3 lifetimes.
So $1,000 is nothing. But
the other thing before we get into Jeff Fry, I wanted to bring up Justin Turner gave an interview the other day, and it was talking about how the Major League has their just extra inning play. And he was saying, let's play 10 innings. And after 10 innings, if it's still tied, home run derby. Take your 3 best hitters, all 3 or so 6 hitters, all get 5 outs, and whichever team hits the most home runs wins the game. What are your thoughts?
That just for this season because of what's going on?
No, I think it's he wants to see it in a rule change. Maybe I'm assuming.
I think this season I would be like whatever, just because of what's going on. But to make that a rule change is, dude, play the game.
Well, to preserve pitchers and bullpen.
Okay, then get outs. Then play the game of baseball. Everybody's just trying to change baseball, and I hate it. Stop changing the game of baseball. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't understand all these rule changes. And
so would you? Okay, but so would you?
Would it be interesting?
I think 10 innings is a little bit go 12, go 11,
go till there's a winner, man.
20 innings, 22 innings.
How many games in the history have gone that long? Probably a handful.
Or if you go, how about this? You go, instead of home run derby, you go 10 innings, and in the 11th, both teams have to throw a position player.
Or just do ties. I don't know. I don't know, bro. I just feel like.
Or just leave it alone.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I don't have a problem with the length of games, so I don't really care. But it was brought up. This was his answer, and he was pushing for it. So
keep pushing. I don't know. Take replay away, and I'll start making all these other things.
You don't like replay?
Nope.
Really, at all?
Not really. I just feel like you're changing the game, and I get you're making the right call. I understand that totally. But look at the history of baseball. How many things would have been changed in the history of the game that could have had different outcomes? So that's what's hard for me is okay, well, then go back, like we talked about with Donald. Go back and take Galarraga, take that out. Perfect game. Why not? Why can't you just go back and make that an out? Because now it would be. So you're taking a guy's perfect game away from his career because they didn't have replay back then. But now we want to get the play right. Now we want to get the call right. Now we want to get it's because, and we'll get into it with Jeff Fry probably, it's all these people that never played the game at a high level that think we need to change it. We need to make it better. There's no such thing as making it, but leave it alone. It's a great game as it is. By you making changes and wanting to do things, you're pretty much saying the game's not good enough.
I like replay. I don't like how, obviously I don't like.
Okay, then throw a flag like football. Throw a flag like football.
I don't want to see a guy going to a phone and calling somebody and saying, hey, should we challenge this or not?
Yeah.
I want you to, you know what, with my own eyes or my player telling me, make a decision based on that.
I'm okay with that then, because the phone thing and
I like the limited. I like the limited things that are reviewable. But
I think taking guys out needs to come back to the game.
At second base or at home?
Yeah.
Or any base, anywhere?
Yep. I missed it, man. Tell me We'll get it with Jeff Fry. We'll ask him. He'll know. Did he not love trying to? And he's a middle infielder, so he'll tell you he loved trying to take dudes out. And when he played, he knew people were trying to take him out. That's just part of the game, man. It's just soft. It's just like everything else. Just like football. It's like you can't hit a guy. You can't do this. You can't touch a quarterback's helmet. You know, it's just softness. Like we sign up to play these sports. We sign up knowing the possibilities of getting injured. These guys get paid a lot more money than guys did back then to help take care of their family and insurance. So what are we doing?
Yeah, but those guys are also putting people in seats. So if they're not playing because of an injury, are they putting people in seats?
Yes.
Really? If Bryce Harper, you don't think that Bryce Harper missed, a massive amount of time because of an injury? Do you think more people or less people are at Phillies games?
Are you a Phillies fan? Then you're going.
Okay. I'm just asking questions.
I know. I know you're not a Phillies fan, but I was just saying in general.
Yeah, I know you're right. You're a
Phillies fan, you're going to Philly. I mean, he wasn't with Philly 10 years ago, 5 years ago. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, now we got Bryce Harper. I'm going to start going to Phillies games.
I hear you.
I mean, it's just –
but
if you're a fan, you're going to go.
Those guys are looking at it in that regard too.
Yeah, I know.
Major League Baseball's trying to protect some of these organizations and the high-level priced players they have that, fill the seat.
Then don't pay them so much money.
That's a great point too. Yeah.
They're not worth it anyways.
Well, I guess that's debatable too for some people.
No, it's a true statement.
I agree too. I think it's a little ridiculous.
No, I mean, and it's always an argument, but I just feel like, well, if you're going to pay 300-something million, I mean, of course you're not going to want them to get hurt. So let's minimize ways of getting injured.
Yeah, they got to protect their investments, man.
That's your fault for putting that much money on somebody knowing he could get hurt. I mean, he could blow his hamstring out running down to first base.
Yeah.
Just as easily as getting hurt, taking a guy out at second base or taking a guy out at home. So, I mean, you could foul a ball. You could get hit. And
I don't know how that works. If the Players Association has a say in this stuff, or is this just Major League? I mean, I can't imagine them not. Let's let the players kind of decide how they want things to go in the game they're playing.
Yeah. I agree.
I think the players should have more say, especially when it comes to like Hall of Fame voting. I
agree.
It's a joke. It makes no sense to me.
And we could ask Jeff about that too.
Yeah. Or with All-Star voting. I don't know how players have anything to do with All-Star voting. Let the players decide. Let the guys that are actually making the outs, hitting the home runs.
I mean, they're putting in the time, the blood, sweat, the tears, all that, so I agree. They should have more say in awards.
Topics. And if you have comments, let us know. Give us your opinion. We're going to go ahead and get Jeff Fry set up in here. So we'll be right back, and this should be fun. Excited.
Yeah.
Stick around.